update, and we can take it from there. So I think we hadn't met since we spoke with your colleague and then the gentleman at MIT. So I guess, Alex, you saw the Slack updates for that, but I think that was a good meeting. Were they interested in doing a follow-up conversation?
Yeah, they were. I actually, right afterwards, I sent a follow-up email out, and Mark, who's the one at Southern New Hampshire University, responded right away. He's super fired up about it. Luke, the son at MIT, connected with me on LinkedIn right away. And then I exchanged emails with Mark earlier today, and he asked about doing a follow-up. So, yeah, just to give a quick overview, I think one of the key, there were some really good points that came out of that call, but in the near term, I think a takeaway for us that could potentially be a really good opportunity. I just don't know. I don't really know how far away we are from having something as a minimal product that we could use for this, but Mark was going to set up a meeting for me to talk to the innovations group at Southern New Hampshire University, and that they're basically in charge of making decisions on whatever technologies get implemented across the whole platform. So potentially, if they liked it, and if we had at least like a basic product that we felt, I know we talked about this before, we don't want to release something too early that doesn't work right and embarrass ourselves or shoot ourselves in the foot. But, there could be an opportunity to do some kind of a deal with them or release the basic product across their network. And I think even if we weren't generating much revenue, which they would, if they were going to do it, they would probably pay us, but we could do some kind of an introductory deal or something to get them on board, understanding that the features and benefits weren't, we didn't have everything up and running the way we wanted. That would not only generate a little bit of revenue, but it would get a lot of users on the platform, and would kind of jumpstart everything, including the fundraising side, if we could get to that point. So I don't know how far away we are from getting to that point, but before I talk to them, it would be good to understand where we are in the process, because if they like it, I want to be able to say, well, look, we still, we're still 6 months away from having something, or maybe if that's the case, we might want to wait till we're closer before I have that first meeting. But he was basically saying I could have an initial meeting with them where we just basically talk on the phone, maybe do a presentation, but if they like it, a follow-up meeting would be an in-person. So I would have to go to New Hampshire or we would have to go to New Hampshire if you guys, wanted to go, which I think would be a good idea. But, again, I don't know if we want to take that step until we're closer to having something that they could actually release across their whole platform. And I'm not sure what the student count is, but it's, in the thousands. So, that could be potentially really good for us if we had something that we could release, because, I think our biggest stumbling block with the fundraising side of it is, we're so early and we don't have any users on the platform. We don't have a viable product. And of course we don't have any revenue. So that relationship could solve a lot of those, issues that we're facing with fundraising right now.
Yeah, no, I definitely think if and when we're able to get to something like that, there'd be huge benefits. My concern, and we can kind of get Alex's thoughts, is trying to put something together too quickly or without enough time to put into it ourselves, and it not really being a product that's ready to release.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to. I don't want to rush it, but if there was a way to do an initial release that had some basic functionality that was still valuable to the student to use it, and maybe we could think through the functionality on there, and if there was something that where we could do it in a way that would benefit them and would benefit us as a company, it's at least worth considering. We might be too far away. And if we are, that's okay. Maybe we do an initial pitch to explain the concept and just tell them, hey, we're still working on our initial product release, and when we get closer, we'll circle back. But at least we could get them interested in it. I just want to be sort of strategic about how we approach them, so we don't, if we're too early and they kind of like it, but we're too far away. I mean, I don't want them to sort of lose interest in it because it's something they can't get right away. But anyway, just something to think about. If there was, on the technical side, if there was a way to get to a viable product that would be of value to them, it'd definitely be worth trying to do that, because it would help us in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking. I mean, my goal is to kind of figure out how I can start helping out and kind of. I mean, I'm close. I have all the the basic programming stuff down, but all of the back end and the databases and everything, that's going to take me some time. I mean, I get the impression that there'd be a good amount of work that we would want to do before we'd have a product. Alex, what are your thoughts on, how much do you think it would take, to get something where you have some type of user interface and you can kind of build some learning paths?
Well, the easiest one to build is the Chrome extension.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's going to take some time, and not sure how much time that would take.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that would be a challenge, with us all having, full-time jobs to do it in a short amount of time. I mean, my goal is to be able to figure out how I can start contributing on that side, and then maybe we can start attacking it a little bit more. But I think what I'm hearing is, we're not really close to having an MVP. If we had funding, we could flip the switch and we could bring a bunch of people on and make it
Yeah.
happen, very quickly. But when we're all pulled in other directions, I think it'll take a little while to get to that level.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, on the fundraising side, I haven't heard back from F50, which, I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. They haven't said no, but, they haven't gotten back to me even to ask for more information or anything. I've emailed Mike a couple of times with updates on, like, talking to these guys at SNHU and MIT. But he hasn't responded lately, so I don't know what's going on with that. They haven't said no, but I haven't heard I haven't received any kind of communication in like 2 weeks or whatever it's been. I do have, I may have mentioned, I've got a contact here in town who owns a variety of different sort of financial investment banking and investment management companies. And the one here in town is called PartnerVest, but he's also a partner in or affiliated with like a family office group and a couple of different investment banks and some actual funds that invest in different things. So he last week connected me with a guy in New York, George Goldman, who has basically interest in two investment banks. One, I forget, I can look up the name. He emailed me and I think I have the names of them, but one does sort of more advanced deals, but one of the investment banks does more deals like us. So he requested the information, which I sent to him right away, and was going to forward them to one of his bankers at the smaller deal investment bank, and basically take a look at it and see if it's something that they wanted to work on, and then get back to me. So I emailed him this morning to kind of just circle back and follow up, but I have not heard back from him. But I mean, that could work in our favor. It probably is a long shot, but it's something. So there's that still pending. F50 still pending. And then I still haven't connected with my guy in Colorado for whatever reason. Right when he got back, he texted me and said, "Hey, I'm back in town. Give me a couple days to kind of get my feet back on the ground." And then I haven't heard from him. So, I mentioned that guy's kind of flaky. If he decides to dig his heels in and work a deal, he can get it done. But there's no amount of pressure I can sort of put on him that's going to make him do it any faster or work any, I can't really, I don't have any control over his flakiness. So, if he does come around and wants to work it, and basically it kind of comes down to whether he needs money or not. If he needs money, he'll get motivated and do it. But I haven't heard from him, so I'm hoping, maybe he'll get in contact with me this week. I'll circle back with him, but I just, I've texted him and emailed him and called him, numerous times over the last 2 months, and he was out of the country,
so
but
much
still,
you can do. But
yeah, he's going to get irritated.
Yep.
At some point, it's he's going to get pissed off. So, anyway, those are kind of the three main things. I've got a bunch of other individual investors that I'm going back and forth with and that kind of thing. But those, as far as sort of larger opportunities to raise money, it's F50, this investment bank, and my guy in Colorado are kind of the three main thrusts that I have going on that could bear fruit. But none of them are close right now. So unfortunately, that's I applied to Seed Invest, which is like a crowdfunding sort of online website based accredited investor network kind of thing, and they basically, you submit, and then if they want to feature you, they get back to you. So you can't really follow up with them or anything. I already submitted everything, and that was a couple weeks ago. Haven't heard anything back. So angel groups, I hit like 50 different angel groups. Nobody bit yet on that. So I'm doing everything I can think of in that regard, but so far nothing's really close to producing. So I'm going to keep thinking and keep going after it, but that's what I have going on right now.
The one thing that maybe we could do to help, it looks like we have a good presentation. I shortened my section and I saw the revised slides that you made. Do we want to coordinate a time to go over that with your friend, the stockbroker, so we can?
Yeah, we should definitely do that. That's something that we can do. I would say if the three of us, maybe, whenever, if everyone has time this week, maybe we run through the pitch a couple times, just make sure, actually go through the whole thing from front to back with the three of us. And then as soon as we do that, I can schedule a time for us to pitch him. He may come into some money, or he may refer us to, some other individuals that might be interested. So it's definitely worth doing it, and it's good practice for us. So we should definitely do that.
On that side, would we want to take, just like the next 15-20 minutes and just run through it a couple times and knock that out?
Sure, that's good with me. If
Anthony, is now a convenient time for you to go through the pitch presentation?
Yeah, I could do that. I kind of have to hop off at 7:30, so I can do at least one.
Okay. Yeah, I figure. Yeah, that will be most efficient use of time. Craig, could you pull it up and share your screen? That worked well. And then I've got some notes on my side. And I still have like the bullet points that we had for you, Anthony. Do you want me to send those in this chat, or do you have everything you need?
Yeah, resend them to me. I think I have a copy of them from the last time, but
I'll just send it to you in Slack if that's easy enough.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. It's going to take me a second to pull these notes up.
Does this look fuzzy to anybody, or is it relatively the image sharp?
Let me flip back to that screen 1 second. guess. Okay. Yep, that's crisp.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know why we were having that issue with the guys. You know, you and I were talking to before. They were having a fuzziness issue. I don't know
Was
why
it
that
showing up fuzzy on your screen as well, or was it
was.
just on theirs?
Yeah, mine was a little fuzzy too. From it was when you were. I think when you were sharing something.
I think
Yeah.
what it was I selected optimize for video when I played the video and then left it on that setting, and it apparently doesn't like that setting for slideshows. So
Okay.
I'm thinking that that was what the issue was.
Okay.
So, okay, I'm ready when y'all are.
Okay. So usually, I guess if I'll start and just do the introduction. So hi, I'm Craig Allen. I'm the CFO of MindMap AI Incorporated. My background is investment banking, primarily capital markets. I've been in the business for 30 years. Uh, Basically started at Lehman Brothers doing mega cap IPOs and secondary offerings. And over the years, basically worked down the scale in terms of size of company. And I've covered the gamut from everything from private startups all the way up to, again, mega cap deals like Dr. Pepper 7 Up and IBM and all kinds of the everyday names that you would see, products in your house. In the last 15 years or so, I started my own firm in 2004 and have been offering investment management services, financial planning, and business consulting, which is really where, especially over the last 10 years, I've worked with startups and early stage companies, primarily as CFO, but also in other C-level management positions, and had a component of investment banking or fundraising with virtually every company I've worked with over that 10-year period. I'm really excited about MindMap. I joined the company earlier this year and really impressed with the team. Let me give you a little background on Sam because she's not on the call today, and also on Alex. I know you're on here, Alex, but I'll talk about you anyway. So Alex is our chief engineer. He has a very specific background in 3D and graphic design, which is really helpful for what we're doing. And actually started programming when he was 13 years old, and is a really valuable member to the team, especially on the machine learning side. Sam is our UI designer and digital media lead. Her background is really in kind of making things look pretty. She's really experienced in the motion graphics area, which again is key to what we're doing in terms of developing the MindMap app and the overall platform. And then at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Joshua Olson, who's our CEO.
Yes, my name's Joshua Olson, and my experience ranges from leadership in Fortune top 10 companies and various entrepreneurial ventures. My background is in chemical engineering, and my entrepreneurial experience includes growing a tutoring business to over 100 tutors, founding a driving school, and multiple real estate ventures and software. I'd like to hand it over to our experienced CTO, Anthony.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm Anthony Wenzel. I pretty much live, breathe computers since I was young. But I got my computer science degree at University of Kentucky. Did a lot of military consulting and contracting early in my career. That kind of got me out to Los Angeles, which I kind of fell into more of the entertainment kind of digital ad agency realm. I ran my own dev shop for a few years, doing lots of contracting and software consulting. From there, I've kind of graduated and moved on to the startup scene, where I've met the MindMap team. So super stoked, and I think we have a pretty cool product to show you guys.
Excellent. So at this point, we'd play the video, and then let's go ahead and skip to Anthony's sections. He has the closest back end. Then we'll come back to mine.
Sure, yeah. So, we've put together a front end kind of prototype to kind of start experimenting with how this mind map interface will be used. And we've chosen pretty much React Native as our core software service. There's a couple benefits. One, from a technical perspective, we'll be able to deploy across both platforms, Android and iOS, and iterate rather rapidly. And from a business perspective, it keeps the team very tight, and we can all kind of focus around JavaScript engineering instead of having, a PHP guy and a MySQL guy and, different flavors, different engineers. I've had a lot of success the last couple apps I built. We've done it in React Native, and it's been, highly scalable. We've already kind of put together most of those DevOps tools to help our engineering team quickly deploy and rapidly iterate alpha beta versions before we cut release candidates. And then Greg, if you don't mind going to the next slide. And what we'll present to you later on is kind of our product roadmap, where we've started to carve out most of our high-level features, and we've worked really hard to kind of separate our IP and what our core software that we're creating and building is versus things that we can probably plug in and integrate. Third parties, not reinventing the wheel. And our game plan is basically to take our prototype, evolve it, kind of get it out to an alpha, maybe a private beta, and then into the app store so we can get it off and running as soon as we close this round.
All right. Excellent. So my section picks up, we've just watched the video, and switching into my section. Now that you've seen our introduction video and the many ways Julie uses mind map, I will highlight the question that caused us to kick off mind map development. Have you invested time and energy into learning something, whether it be in school, online, or for a hobby, then after a period of time not using those skills, found out you forgot much of what you knew? Adding to your frustration, discover it is quite an effort to trace down your learning content and relearn those skills. We founded MindMap to solve these issues, and it has grown into providing solutions for many more problems, as detailed on this slide and the next. I will draw your attention to these two. First, the world has changed. From the information overload the internet brings to big data and AI, learning must evolve to keep people competitive. We must learn efficiently from relevant and accurate content, optimized for our learning styles and needs. On top of that, knowledge alone is no longer enough. We must understand how to utilize this knowledge, connect and empower people to use their creativity to find solutions, and facilitate group learning and teamwork. Second, many people face various obstacles in learning, such as disabilities. We are passionate about empowering each and every person by bringing them the content in a manner that they understand and connecting them to the right people so they can learn and excel. Next slide, please. What is MindMap? In our video, you've seen Julie use MindMap to capture her learning path, retain and share her knowledge, learn more efficiently, benefiting from MindMap's AI, and generate income. Another area that we are very excited about is our enterprise product. With all of the baby boomers retiring and millennials frequently switching companies, workforce knowledge loss is a major issue and very costly to corporations. MindMap Enterprise offers secure platforms for companies, letting employees tag what they find helpful in their jobs, retaining and organizing the relevant skills. MindMap then helps them perform future tasks more efficiently. MindMap captures the workforce knowledge, organizing and connecting it to people. Employee transitions and onboarding inefficiencies are minimized. Mind map recommends resources, qualified team members, mentors, and suitable roles. At this point, my intro for Anthony would have been, next, our CTO Anthony will highlight our mobile app and the use of best-in-class development techniques. So now I'll switch over to Craig.
So just to highlight some of the, basically the features of what we're offering in comparison to what's available in the market, we wanted to include a little bit of competition overview. However, there's really no other product on the market that's anything like MindMap at this point. You can go through the different attributes that we have, but I would say that, you may be familiar with OneNote or Google Keep or any number of these other potential software tools that can be used. None of these, as you can see on this table, has anywhere near the number of features or functionality that MindMap AI will offer through our app and our platform. A lot of these tools are very clunky in terms of having to draw and pull everything in. For example, on OneNote, if you want to store everything, it does have some nice functionality in terms of being kind of easy to use in terms of posting and tagging things and sticking things into a page. But you have to pull everything into the software tool. Whereas opposed to OneNote, our product runs in the background while you're doing everything else, so that you don't have to take that extra step of pulling everything into a centralized location. MindMap is just recording what you're doing as you're working through everything. No matter where you are on the internet or on the computer, it's recording everything you do. And probably the only reasonably close sort of platform out there that we would look at would be lynda.com. But lynda.com, although it's got some nice features, is very limited in scope. It's a closed universe for one thing. Basically, you're only accessing what's available inside lynda.com. There's no tutoring. There's no matching of your learning style, your content to tutors or other content that's on the platform. There's no recommendations of content based on your learning style. And yet LinkedIn bought lynda.com for $1.5 billion in 2015, which was a huge winner. So although it does have a lot of limitations in comparison to MindMap AI, it's still a highly valuable company and obviously very successful. And they do help people learn. Looking at our market, we're focused on LA County as our beginning market. There are 1.5 million college students enrolled each year within LA County, 20 million students enrolled in college each year across the United States. And then, of course, you have the high school students, 15.1 million students in public high schools alone across the U.S. And of course, as Joshua talked about with the enterprise tool and offering that we're going to have, there are 49 million workers between the age of 20 and 34. So that hits those millennials that he mentioned. The market is absolutely massive. The education sector, for example, is $1.6 trillion per year. It is just an absolute huge market. Tutoring is a $200 billion a year market. E-learning is a $275 billion per year market. It is just massive. So our market is huge. Looking at what we're shooting for, obviously, with a platform like ours, we want to get users on the platform. We're looking at hitting over the 1 million user mark between retail and enterprise users by year 4, 500,000 by year 3, 1 million by year 4, and we should have more than 1 million users both on retail and on the enterprise platform, or more than 2 million in total by year 5. Looking at the numbers, really, what happened there? We have multiple scalable recurring revenue streams. So it's an ideal revenue platform for anybody who's interested in software as a service, artificial intelligence, or any of these recurring revenue type of streams that really make early stage companies attractive for investors. First, we have retail and enterprise recurring monthly membership fees. The tutoring revenue sharing could be a sizable component. We have advertising, and there are a lot of enterprise opportunities through advertising, where we'll bring partners on, such as universities that could advertise with us, as well as be customers for the actual users. And then enterprise consulting or big data, which is a massive market, and there have been a lot of acquisitions in that area that you're probably familiar with. We'll be generating a huge database that's nodal that we'll be able to use to generate actionable data that we can then sell. And also a lot of the companies that we'll sell that data to will also want to advertise on our platform. So we have some overlap with a lot of these revenue sources that will actually feed on each other. And of course, you can see, I'll show you some other numbers here in a second, but you can see the strength of the growth in revenue over the first 5 years that we're projecting. Here are the numbers. If you look at basically the valuation, the numbers are impressive. We get to over 300 million in top line revenue by year 5, and we're looking at EBIT in the basically in the $222 million mark by year 5. We're projecting basically in year 3 EBIT of about 28 million, and if we use a 10x multiple, that'd be a $280 million valuation, and that would bring us in at about $21.50 per share. Even if you add in the warrants that we're offering, and I'll talk about the structure of the deal in a second, it still brings the company at $15.50 per share. And we're offering units, which you'll see in a second, at $1. So you're looking at 15x your money based on the units, and that doesn't include the upside potential in the warrants. What we're doing in terms of structure on the deal is we're looking for $5 million in total, but the first 500,000 is what we need to get from the prototype product that we have today to a workable alpha release, our first consumer release. And we're offering a unit which consists of 1 common stock share, 1 share of common, and 2 common stock purchase warrants. That unit will be priced at $1. Warrant, each warrant will have a strike price of $1 and a 10-year life. And then the remaining 4.5 million of the 5 million, it will also be structured as a unit, 1 share of common, 1 common stock purchase warrant in that unit. And the strike price will be $250 with a 5-year life for the warrants in that round, that part of the round. That concludes our prepared presentation. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Awesome. Excellent.
Let's see where we're at with time. So that was like 15 and a half minutes or so with the video, which isn't bad at all.
Did you add in time for the video?
Yeah, that's adding 2 minutes for the 2.5 minutes for the video. Yeah. So we're right under 16 minutes. Okay. Which is fine.
I'm wondering, it was kind of nice after the video letting Anthony show, that we're actually building the app prototype. I wonder if there might be a way to do his section first and then I circle back with the overview, or do you think that would lose some perspective?
I think that would work fine. What I was just thinking while I was talking about my stuff, we never really say exactly what it is. Like in your section, you sort of, you say, what is mind map here? But I mean, I think if Anthony went first, maybe he could just sort of, say what it is. Like, mind map's an app and a platform. It's cloud, that kind of the basic nuts and bolts of what it is. I'm not sure if we ever explain exactly what it is, because I felt like when I was talking about it, we hadn't really explained that well what it actually does.
Yeah, that makes sense. We have a lot of examples in the video. I mean, the video does a pretty good job. Let me pull up the video so I can hear exactly what the words they use. But I want to say the video is like, Mind Map is a learn sharing app where users can such and such.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. The video, if they pay attention to the video, they should get a pretty good sense of what it is and what it does. I mean, we didn't play the video this time, so I guess that was sort of the disconnect in my mind of if we played the video, it would probably explain better, assuming they're paying attention.
Maybe a way to reinforce it is like if there's some phrase that explains like the concept of mind map, and then we repeat it through the presentation.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I think if we tie it into the verbiage that the video uses, we can write a phrase, mind map is a, mobile application platform where users can, tag what they're learning, e-learning. I can write up a sentence that's kind of short and condensed and uses the same verbiage that we use in other places. Then maybe if, like you said, after the video, then Anthony kind of starts with that, mind map is such and such. I'm going to start by showing you kind of where we're at, and then we'll give you some perspective after my portion.
Did Anthony jump off already?
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. How do you feel about moving your stuff up to the beginning?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, I mean, I don't see, I mean, I see what you guys are saying. I think there is a lot more context with the video, but, showing them the demo might excite them faster than, leaving it towards the end. So I'm happy to do that.
Kind of what I was thinking. I mean, if their argument is, we're too early, we don't have anything, we could combat that by as quickly as possible showing them, we have a React Native app prototype, we have a path to the App Store.
Yeah, like it's kind of already in progress. We just need, more hours, hands on deck.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm down. I'm down to try whatever. I don't see a disadvantage to doing that.
I'll write up like a little, sentence overview and try to use the same verbiage from the video and send that out on Slack, and then we could use that. So I'm thinking after the video, you can say, as you saw, mind map is such and such, and then you just go through what you did, and then you could hand it over to me for a little bit of extra background, and I can potentially shorten mine down a little bit if need be.
Yeah, that's cool with me.
Okay.
I mean, I think we're great on time. The 15-minute thing is like a hard stop for F50, but with the average person, if it takes us 20 minutes, it's not a big deal. It's just a big deal to them.
Right.
But for everyone else, it's we don't have to strictly stay within 15 minutes. I thought that everything went pretty smoothly.
Yeah, well, I think that sounds like a good path forward. I'll work on writing a sentence up, after we finish our meeting and sending that out on Slack. And then I think once we have that, Anthony, Craig, you can just reorganize the slides. So Anthony's comes next. And then I think we would be ready to, to do our pitch to the stockbroker. What do you think? Is there more stuff we would want to do, or what are your thoughts?
I think the sooner the better. He'll give us feedback no matter what. So if he feels like something's the orders should be different or something's missing or he doesn't understand, he'll tell us. So I mean, I would I'd say let's try to get that set up as quick as we can. I mean, I can text him right now and see if we could do it sometime this week if you guys have time to do it.
So my schedule is quite flexible. I'm in between semesters. Anthony's is probably the tightest. Do you have any ideal times or windows?
Yeah, I mean, let's see here. I mean, do we have any kind of ideal times with them?
He's retired, so he plays a lot of golf, but otherwise he's pretty flexible. We just got to kind of pick a day. I have to get him to tell me a day when he's not on the golf course or something that we could do it.
Right. So it's probably like afternoon or even early evening kind of thing.
We probably I've talked to him in the morning. If he doesn't play golf, I usually talk to him in the morning.
Okay.
So it probably in mid morning what be good. But I mean, if you
Right.
prefer afternoon, we can do it.
I mean, the only early morning I have this week is Wednesday, but if we want to book something next week, I'm totally open. I usually just need like, a day or two heads up and I can make it happen.
Okay.
But Thursday and Friday morning, I'm super slammed. Tomorrow I'm wide open. Thursday afternoon, I'm completely wide open after 1.
Okay.
And
So
Friday after 3.
Tomorrow morning, Thursday afternoon, or Friday after 3.
Yeah, this week.
Gotcha. Or sometime next week. Better.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it next week. It just, the further out it is, the easier I can, squeeze in and move stuff around.
Okay. Let me, I just texted him. So as soon as I'll get some times and I'll circle back with you guys. But yeah, I think when, as long as it's convenient, the sooner we do that, the better. He's a good guy. And I've already talked to him about it. So I know he likes it. He's interested. I don't know that he'll have money for it, but he could at least refer us to some people probably. So it's definitely worth doing it. And he'll give us some good feedback. He gave me feedback earlier, and I think he's good for that because he's an investments guy. So if nothing else, it'll be good feedback.
Very cool.
Yep, sounds like a plan.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish up that little kind of overview sentence, and then I'll send that out to Slack on everyone. And yeah, so I think that's the plan for the presentation.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome, guys.
So I'm just uploading to Slack the one with the slides rearranged so that Alex comes early, or Anthony comes earlier in the presentation. So you guys will have that. If we need to add anything else, we can.
Alrighty. Anything else that anyone needs from me, or anything else for Path Forward wise?
The only other thing is Mark wanted to, have a follow-up call. Do you want to? Do you think it would be fruitful to have either Alex or Anthony on, or Sam on a follow-up? Or would you and I just want to do a follow-up with them? I mean, I like to kind of formalize something with them and get some next steps. Kind of maybe you and I could figure out, next steps of how we want to, what we want to accomplish with them. Maybe we could talk, offline maybe and figure that out. But I'd like to kind of keep that momentum moving, so keep them interested.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking objective wise, if we could officially get one or both of them as, active advisors to help, guide with the machine learning portion and kind of open doors in the education industry. I think that's one of the most applicable things. I think it'll be a little while before we have a product that we could actually demo, kind of like we talked earlier, unless we got funding to bring more people on. So we need to, combat the newness of our company with, experience and advisors, I guess.
Yeah. With regard to giving these guys some equity, I was thinking like 10 to 25,000 shares maybe to start. We could always, depending on how much they contribute, we could always think about adding something to that later. But I mean, I don't want to give them a ton of stuff up front, but something reasonable that gives them motivation to to engage. I don't know how everybody feels about that, but I thought somewhere in that neighborhood would be good to start anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about building the company. You know, a portion of a huge thing is a lot better than a lot of nothing.
Well,
So,
we set aside those shares too, so they're
right.
already on the cap table anyway. So
Yep.
it's just a question of reserving, for other people in the future, kind of. But I definitely think it'd be worthwhile to, to give these guys something to kind of get them. He was, I think they both have to sort of check on conflict of interest because, depending on their relationship with the universities and stuff, there could be a conflict where they're not supposed to take compensation personally directly, but they need to figure that out. But I thought we should kind of know what we want to offer before the next call.
Yeah, no, that sounds reasonable to me. So I'm fine with that.
That's the only other thing I had.
Okay. Yeah, so my schedule's flexible. If you give me, a little bit of heads notice, a day or two, so we can just coordinate on Slack for when they'd be available. And then it would be advantageous to have Alex join us with kind of what he's been looking at. So we'll try to give him a couple days to see if he might be able to fit it in. But if not, the two of us can handle it.
Okay. What's your schedule look like, Alex, for the rest of this week or maybe early next week?
Let me get back to you on that, but it's a lot freer than it was. There's a lot less meetings after the first few weeks.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll definitely coordinate with you guys and with them to just, maybe try to get something on the calendar here, either maybe late this week or sometime Monday, Tuesday of next week if we can, something like that. It's kind of what I was thinking.
Yep, sounds good.
Cool. Sounds good to me. Just kind of keep the momentum moving.
Yep. Yeah, I'm anxious to get in there to be able to start developing it. I have one more thing I need to do. I need to brush up on some Python. I'm going to automate some of my dividend stock trading stuff to free up some more time. And once I get that done, I'm going to focus on getting in there to help with the stuff. So that'll help with the momentum as well. So, alrighty. Well, let's call that a wrap.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Talk to
All right.
you next week, if not before.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah,
Adios.
thanks, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.